The box shadow property in CSS3 is used to specify shadow for any HTML element in the web page. Here, box means any HTML element such as div tag, paragraph, span tag or any other HTML tag. So for any HTML visible element, you can apply the shadow. In the box shadow property, you require to specify the 5 values, that is horizontal offset, vertical offset, spread and color. The horizontal offset is the space between the border and shadow horizontally, that is on x-axis. Similarly, vertical offset is the space between the border and shadow vertically, that is on y-axis. For example, horizontal offset is 5 pixels and vertical offset is 10 pixels. And this is the border of the element, and here the shadow starts. So the space between the border and shadow horizontally is 5 pixels and the space between the border and shadow vertically is 10 pixels. The third value in the box shadow property is blur. By adding the blurriness, you can display the shadow with a blur effect. That means it is not a clear shadow. And the value called spread will enhance the area of the shadow. That means the shadow area will be increased. Finally, last but not the least, you can specify the color of the shadow. By default, the shadow color will be same as text color. For example, if the text color is black, by default you will get black color. But you can specify any color as a shadow color. Out of 5 values, that is horizontal offset, vertical offset, blur, spread and color, first 2 values are compulsory, remaining 3 are optional. The default value of box shadow property is none. In the codes project, I would like to apply the shadow for all the states in the states.html page. So this is the states.html page, and I would like to apply shadow for all the states in this web page. All the states are having a class called state. So based on the class selector in CSS, we are selecting all the div tags that are having class equal to state. And for the same element, I am going to apply box shadow. First, you must specify horizontal offset and then vertical offset. For example, horizontal offset is 10 pixels, vertical offset is 20 pixels. So notice the change in the output. You are having the shadow, but 10 pixels space between the border and shadow horizontally and 20 pixels space between the border and shadow vertically. And by default, it's a clear-cut shadow. You can apply the blur effect by adding the value for the blur, that is third value of box shadow property. So I am going to apply 5 pixels for blurriness. You can give any number. Now refresh the page. Now we have blurriness in the shadow. And I am going to increase the blurriness by making it 10 pixels. Now it looks like this. You can notice blurriness has been increased. Now we are going to specify fourth value in the box shadow property, that is spread. For example, I want to enhance the shadow about 5 pixels. Now you can notice the shadow area has been increased. That means shadow gets enhanced. And finally, you can specify the color for the shadow, that is by default black, same as text color. And I am going to apply some kind of blue as a shadow color. The shadow color has been changed. Like this, you can apply the box shadow for any HTML element, not only for div. But however, in general, in most of the cases, we use box shadow property mostly for div tags. This is how to work with the box shadow property in CSS3.